Well, you know the bad news.
Charlie Carlson is in the meeting of his life, and his shirt is perfectly dry. But that doesn't mean he smells good. Because underarm odor isn't visible, he needs total protection. Sure Solid.
If everyone would take a look.
Sure not only helps protect against wetness, it actually kills bacteria that cause odor. So Charlie, why go to work with a dry shirt and a false sense of security? Use Sure Solid and be just as sure about odor as you are about wetness.
Introducing the all-new Dodge Dynasty, a contemporary 6-passenger family sedan. Witness the power of its available fuel-injected V6. Witness the room, ride, and comfort. Witness the value. Thousands less than you'd expect to pay for a sedan of its caliber. Dodge Dynasty, an amazing value with an amazing warranty. The all-new Dodge Dynasty.
You're all about it on Cheers.
Sam said he was going to propose to someone.
The bar's really buzzing with the news of Sam's bride-to-be.
Let's just say inquiring minds want to know, eh?
Finally, after years of waiting, the time is right for Sam.
To us.
And Diane.
To us.
Looks like the big moment has arrived for Sammy to pop the old question.
Will you marry me?
And the answer is, next time on Cheers.
Watch Cheers tomorrow at 5:30 here on Channel 7.
Want the inside scoop on Channel 7? Then read the WKBW TV Times. Find out why an eyewitness news reporter once wrestled an alligator. Order a Channel 7 mug. Try a celebrity recipe. Check your home for radon. And kids, you can become an eyewitness news hawk. It's all in the TV Times. Plus, win great prizes like a trip for 4 to Disneyland via Piedmont Airlines and stay at the fashionable Century Plaza Hotel. For your free copyright, TV Times, Box 7, Buffalo 14205, or call 845-6100.
Well, welcome back to McNichols Arena here in Denver, Colorado, where after 2 periods of play, Team Sweden with 2 goals that period leading Team USA by a score of 3-0. And John Davidson, interesting period. Started out pretty good for Team USA. They were in the game. Then it got very physical. Looked like maybe USA was going to maybe turn the tide a little, but Sweden with 2 goals.
Well, Sweden is very strong in goal, Mike, and Lindmark played very, very well when he had to early in the period. And then I think it's a situation, we talked a lot tonight about the neutral zone play of the Swedish Hockey Club. They play their positions well. They seem to skate well, and they anticipate plays well. They broke up the American club trying to come out of the zone. And the American club, without Millen in the lineup and without Granato, just doesn't seem like the same club offensively.
Well, let's take a look at the second goal, which was the first goal of that period. And again, defensive lapse by the United States.
Well, look at the puck bouncing when Weinrich tries to throw it out, and he ends up turning the puck over, and that turnover just creates a goal. You'll see Hjelm get the puck and beat Richter to the stick side. That's that Swedish play where they like to anticipate passes, etc. They jumped in, broke it up, and scored on it. But again, I feel sorry for Weinrich on that play because the puck was bouncing, and it has been a problem in this game.
Well, it's still not a very high percentage pass also, though, when you're trying to throw the puck through the center of ice. But again, you know, the U.S., they had some problems the other night, although they won 9-7. Still, you don't want to get into a shootout during the Olympic Games. You have to play tight checking hockey, and Sweden seems to be doing that a little better than the United States, and that's, I think, what caused that third goal.
I think more so than what I thought they would. They played along the boards well here. Here we see the goaltender, Terrari. He really doesn't have to drop down on an angle shot like that, screen or no screen. Remember, if you're going to drop down, at least keep the blade of your stick between your legs on the ice surface. And here, Weinrich tries to reverse the puck, and there's the man with the shot, and the goal stick is up in the air. You see it up in the air. If he keeps it down on the ice, it may not sneak through the legs. And it was just a quick bang-bang turnover play, and the Swedes feasted on the turnovers during that period and actually turned 2 into goals.
Well, the tough thing, I think, for the United States right now, and, you know, I remember that little smile that the Swedish coach gave us today when we talked with him. I said to him, is this game going to become a shootout? And he just kind of smiled at me and said, I hope not. And the game right now, 3-0, is playing pretty much into the way Sweden would like it to be.
Mike, they average 26.7 years of age. They're an older hockey club, and they're very experienced. They played together for a number of years, and they're preparing themselves for the Olympics and then for the World Championships next year in Sweden. The experience is showing here in this game.
Well, experience, obviously such a big thing. And speaking of experience, the man behind the microphone, Mr. Al Michaels. Hey, Al.
All right, rookie. It's good to be back with you. Mike will be up in Calgary as well as the Olympics begin, and the United States will get things underway, of course, on a Saturday night when they take on Austria, and then games to follow against Czechoslovakia, the Soviet Union, Norway, and West Germany. If you would like an official Team USA jersey, there it is, made by CCM. It comes in adult small, medium, large, extra large. State the size you want. It costs $39 plus $3 handling, and you can send it to U.S. Hockey Team Merchandise, Suite 424, 1250 West Maple, and that's Troy, Michigan, 48084. And there is the number. The address up on the screen for you for an official Team USA jersey. And so for the United States hockey team, what they will do is go back to their base in Colorado Springs after the game. Tomorrow is an off day of sorts, and then on to Calgary. They'll fly up there on Wednesday and in fact work out at the Saddle Dome late Wednesday. Hjelm scored for Sweden at 2:45 unassisted to make it 2-0 in the second period, and then Bergqvist at 16:52, the assist from Sodergren. The shots on goal, the Swedes had 13 in the second period and 23 total now on Richter and Terreri. And the United States limited to just 5 shots on goal in the second period and a total of 14 through the first 2 periods of play, with Sweden leading 3-0. And tonight's game is being brought to you by Dodge Cars and Trucks. For performance on road and off, it's got to be a Dodge. By Wheaties, the natural goodness of 100% whole wheat makes Wheaties the breakfast of champions. And by Sure Antiperspirant. Get Sure and be just as sure about odor as you are about wetness. And so the team's now coming back out onto the ice here in Denver. If you joined us late, Mike Richter was the starting goaltender for the United States. He played half the game. He was taken out with about 10 minutes to play in the second period. He yielded 2 goals. Terreri has yielded 1 in his roughly 10 minutes of action. Again, as you look at Richter number 1, Dave Peterson has not announced who will start in goal for the United States on Saturday. He may not announce it till Saturday. John Davidson and I suspect it will be Richter, and Richter did nothing to dispel that notion with his performance tonight, John.
Got 17 out of 19 shots, and the majority were tough shots, and it's always difficult for a man to come off the bench and go in to play goal. It doesn't matter to me who it is or when it happens. It's just a difficult thing to do, and for Chris Terreri, he has to do it 2 games in a row. You know, you look at this USA club and you see where the players have come from. They started the season with 26 players. 21 of those 26 played in the NCAA last year. 3 were from pro hockey and 2 played in Europe. But the college influence in American hockey is really something. Some great programs right across the country. Some fine development.
Well, the great guys at Freedom Sports Network, Ron DeLorenzo and Dale Brooks, want you all to know that ABC Sports will, of course, have exclusive coverage of the Olympics. And this Saturday night, the coverage beginning on ABC at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And naturally, the featured attraction, the opening night, the opening prime time show of the Olympics will be hockey. The U.S. against Austria.
You will have some fun working with Big Ken Dryden, former goaltender, and Mike Eruzione. Should be a lot of fun.
You pick up more checks than Dryden, don't you? I know you. Have you ever picked one up? Because if you have, you've picked up one more than Dryden.
I don't want to mention anything like that because Dryden has given goaltenders a bad name for that particular reason. Yeah, but I won't get into it too deeply.
Yeah, we'll try to rectify that problem.
Should be able to buy dinner a week straight for all the sales from his book a few years ago.
Absolutely. Dave Peterson has not yet come out for the third period, and let's check in with Mike Eruzione.
Al, that doesn't surprise me. Dave Peterson said that he may go up and watch the game at some point from up high and let Ben Smith take the reins. It was funny because when they beat Canada 3-2 earlier, Dave Peterson was up in the stands and Ben Smith was the coach. So Dave thinks that maybe it's best for him to go up there and let Ben kind of run the show.
Yeah, but what if they get 4 goals in the third period? What happens on Saturday night?
You know, it was funny because he said during the Canada game when they went ahead 3-2, Dave couldn't sit in his seat. He kept walking out and walking back, and he wasn't sure where to go. So he was kind of like a fish out of water, but he said he may do this tonight and get a look again at that last player and see which one he wants to select, although I'm sure one period isn't going to make a determination in what player he selects. But again, you never know how he can look at things from that angle. Herb did it a lot with us during the end of the year, so it's a good idea, I think, at this point.
Another thing he can do is really get himself a more solid book on the Swedish Hockey Club, watch them from above and see their style of play.
And these two teams would not meet in the Olympics unless it were in the medal round. Janney from in front, and his shot saved by Lindmark, who's had a big night in the nets for Sweden. And you can see why, when we talked about it at the outset, that the Swedes feel that their success is very much contingent on the play of Lindmark.
Hungry USA team to start this third period. The shot ends up a little high into the midsection of the goaltender, but they go quickly. Kevin Miller to the net for the rebound. The goaltender Lindmark just gets to it. There you see some interference on Snuggerud.
And the first save of the period belongs to Lindmark. Snuggerud scrapping for it. Lindmark wheels it around the near side and cleared out.
Heavy hitting by Weinrich and by Laviolette to start this third period. The Americans feel, hey, listen, if we're going to end this game, let's end the third period on a high note before the trip is made to Calgary. Some heavy hitting here to start the third. So look at Craig Yanni. Good play, center ice for the club. Won the Hockey East scoring race in 1987 by 14 points, playing for Boston College. You know, you look at his size, 6'1", 195, Al. Taylor built for the Boston Garden and the Boston Bruins.
Janney, number 15. Right now it's Johansson with Donatelli and Stevens forming this line, and Leach paired with Gosselin on defense for Team USA. Gosselin goes back to collect it. Up ahead to Stevens. He drops it for Johansson, who gets taken down, and there's a penalty. So the U.S. will have a power play as Johansson gets tripped up, and the U.S. will have it man advantage when we come back.
Get a fully automatic 35mm Kodak camera free when you buy 10 rolls or more of Owens Corning pink fiberglass insulation.
Lester's grandson's flying on business to the Far East.
How far? Dayton?
Nope, Taipei.
You can't get there from here.
Anybody tell Lester?
No airline flies to more of the world from more of the U.S. than Northwest.
Some aggressive play along the boards, heading for loose pucks, and that's Jim Johansson. He's hooked from behind by Carlson, and the Swedes are shorthanded. The Americans 0 for 2 on the power play in this game. One a full 2 minutes, one a short power play.
And in that first full 2-minute power play, they didn't even get a shot on goal. Greg Brown up ahead for Jim Johansson. Kept in by Stevens and then deflected over the glass and into the seats. Face off in the Sweden end.
Once again, it was a quick play by a defenseman for Sweden to deflect the puck wide. There's a look at Lars Carlson in the penalty box. He may be the most talented player on the Swedish Hockey Club, but can be lazy at times. He was the best defenseman in Sweden last year during their regular season. And again, that points to their strength on the blue line.
U.S. converting about a third of the time on the power play through the pre-Olympic schedule. A minute and a half remaining in the penalty, and Lindmark is able to clear it all the way out. Then Terreri gets it up ahead as Bourbeau takes it in over the blue line. To Norton. Takes the slapper, centered in front, cleared out by Sweden.
That was a nice pass by Scott Young across to Norton from one defensive side to the other. That opened up the ice surface. Quick puck movement on the power play certainly helps.
Norton starts out of the United States end. Pass too long into the corner. Karam Jones can't get there. And Sweden clears it again with 50 seconds remaining now in the United States power play. Shot comes in from number 11, Jens Erling. And back come the Americans. But it's taken away near center ice and shot down into the U.S. end by Eldebrink. Now the U.S. comes back quickly the other way as Steve Leach one-hands it in around the net to Brian Leach, and his shot is wide. Young keeps it in from the point. Loose puck, Fusco backhands. Loose in front. Lindmark goes down. Swedes clear. 10 seconds left for the penalty.
It was an example of Leach moving in from the blue line, and Steve Leach set him up for the shot, but Brian Leach missed the net. Steve Leach shows some muscle fending off the defenseman Anderson.
Lane McDonald to Brian Leach. Leach in on the right wing for Fusco. Steve Leach gets taken out of the play. Brian sends it back to Scott Young at the point. The shot is blocked in front. Fusco can't get off a backhander, and a penalty coming up.
It will be a holding call to the Americans for holding the stick of one of these Swedish players. In fact, McDonald pulled it right out of his hands. We'll be back after this message.
Events that have touched our lives.
President Nixon resigned today.
One man has covered them all.
The rapid transit system is a go.
For over 20 years,
It's being called the Blizzard of 77.
he's brought you the good news
The Nobel Peace Prize went to Lech Wałęsa.
and the bad.
A state of emergency has been declared at Love Canal.
For over 23 years, you've come to expect news coverage you can trust. From Irv Weinstein and Eyewitness News, expect the best.
Penalty on Lane McDonald. 2 minutes for holding, coming at the 3:08 mark of the third period.
And the penalty had expired to the Swedish club, so it's a power play now for Team Sweden. The ice has created a problem here for most of this hockey game. This arena not used very often for ice hockey. A brand new ice surface. There's been no one skating on this. In fact, both teams practiced today in Colorado Springs before they made the trip up here to Denver for the game. And McDonald, what he had done was grab a hold of a Swedish player's stick, in fact, yank it out of his hands, and that's why he got caught.
So they do some repair work on this surface. And again, a look at the Olympic schedule. Saturday night, U.S. against Austria. Monday night, U.S. Czechoslovakia. Then Wednesday, the 17th, the U.S. and the Soviets. Those two teams did not meet in Sarajevo because they were in opposite brackets, and the United States never reached the medal round. Then Norway, then West Germany. That's the preliminary round. Top three teams advance to the medal round to play 3 more games.
You know, that Soviet team, they are going to have, they say, the next young superstar in their lineup, Alexander Mogilny. He was a junior superstar over there, and that should be fun to watch. They will also have that great KLM line, Makarov and Larionov and Krutov, and you're familiar with those names, Al.
Oh, they seem to have been there forever.
The famous line that wears the greens when it comes to practice.
They lost Sweden with a man advantage, on top by a score of 3-0. Eldebrink has it blocked nicely. Von Miller went to the ice to block it and clear it as well. But Lindmark gets them started back the other way in a hurry. Eldebrink's pass broken up, and back it comes to him. In over the blue line. Bergqvist can't control. And the U.S. gets it back to center ice, and then some. As Donatelli skates into the Swedish end and is taken down.
Donatelli is hustled in this hockey game, as he always does.
He's a lot of fun to watch. Number 17, Clark Donatelli. It's Gosselin who gets bumped, but is able to get the puck loose for Donatelli. Here he comes, and Donatelli has it taken away, but a penalty will be called as Lindmark threw his stick at the puck.
An interference call as Lindmark threw his stick, and I don't know if the call is on Lindmark or one of the other players. Maybe that man, Pettersson, but I would think it should be a penalty shot if the goaltender throws the stick. Watch Donatelli turn the jets on. Here he goes, and there's the goal stick thrown at him as he had him beat, and it will be a penalty shot. Donatelli on Lindbergh. Watch the goalie throw the stick. He Boston University for Jack Parker. This is going to be fun to watch, Al.
We were just talking about Donatelli and how exciting he is to watch. He's a hustler. He was just taken down along the boards. Then the puck came loose and he got it again. And now the penalty shot coming up, Mike.
Yeah, John, I can't hear very well down here, but you're Clark Donatelli. He's not a very gifted goal scorer. What does he do? You're the goaltender.
I think he's going to have to monitor right away if Lindbergh is going to charge him or not. If Lindbergh charges him, shoot the puck on the ice because he won't be able to move his feet.
Here we go.
Donatelli skates in on Lindmark. And shoots high. Shoots high. Forehand side.
Donatelli's best year was 85-86 when he scored 28 goals for Boston University. And I think he went in. He had the puck in front of him, Al. That means he's going to deke. And he deked and then tried to put it up high, and he was in a little close on the Swedish netminder when the play happened. Watch, Lindmark's well out. Now he'll back right in deep. Donatelli has the puck right out in front of him. And he makes the move to one side. He has some room and couldn't quite convert the shot. And maybe it looks like he's trying to put it back through the legs of the goaltender. Donatelli has his head up. He's looking. There's lots of room up top. Look at that stick glove. It's on the ice almost. Look at the room up top. And the play was a little late, and he couldn't quite hit that top corner as the save was made by Lindmark.
Meanwhile, Sweden still has a power play for the next 35 seconds. While all this was going on, still a man in the penalty box for the United States, Lane McDonald, Mike.
John, the advantages of taking a look at the replays, when they showed the angle from behind when Clark was going in, it really looked like he had an awful lot to shoot at. I was surprised that Lindmark gave him so much.
I think the biggest thing was, Mike, that Donatelli was so close to the goaltender, he was unable to hit that open spot. And here he comes. Whoops, he stops this time.
And here's Steve Leach shooting, and a great save by Lindmark, who didn't know where the puck was, but he was able to make the save, and his defenseman clears it.
Showtime for Lindmark. This time he was going to charge out of the net. He caught himself halfway, backed in, and then the shot was taken. And we've talked about Lindmark leaning. Watch him lean back to his stick side. He's going down already. He makes his save. Now he flips right over, and the referee thought the puck was frozen, which it wasn't, and he blew the whistle. But Lindmark is without question Sweden's best player. Sweden's best player, excuse me. See how he backed in there. He had himself caught, and Steve Leach moved in quickly, but Lindmark recovered.
Well, early on, we talked about the fact the Swedes pull no punches when they talk about how they have to get to the medal round. They talk about Lindmark as the key guy, and we have all seen a perfect illustration tonight.
Another thing here, this America club has not folded the tent up. They have challenged and worked here in the third period, even though they trail 3-0.
2 seconds now left in the penalty, and Steve Lee shoots and scores! And Lindmark admonishes his old players. He wasn't mad at the referee. He went after his old guys.
What a shot this was by Steve Leach. He works and he fights and he keeps his legs going and he breaks up the play. And look at this shot. Top corner between the body and the goalpost. As the puck, they didn't know whether the puck went in right away, and Fusco didn't want to take any chances. But look at the individual effort by Steve Leach. This is a shot up high on a stand-up goaltender between the torso and the right arm of the goaltender, Lindmark. What a play by Steve Leach, Washington Capitol property. He just worked and worked and worked and finished the play. High school in Massachusetts for Steve Leach.
It doesn't go into the books as a shorthanded goal because the penalty to McDonald was expiring at that very moment. As the teams were about ready to skate at equal strength, Steve Leach scoring the goal to make it 3-1. Now Brian Leach up ahead and taken down as Steve Leach on a tremendous check at the blue line by Carlson, and then he gets taken down by Lane McDonald as the action becomes furious. Collects it for the moment and shoots it into the corner, but offside with 14:11 to go and what's become a hectic third period. 3-1 Sweden.
It's a big game, big boy. And that basket seems mighty high. But you know you got the stuff because your mama got you off the ground this morning with a real winner. Howdy ho, wheat, time to float, 'cause you don't wear no sugar coat. You just can't beat that pure whole wheat. Now go tell your mama what the big boys eat.
Pretty good third period so far. Real
You
good.
could see it during the first shift. The Americans were hungry, they were banging, and they were playing much quicker and smarter, and they have really challenged the Swedes in the third period.
Real up-tempo period, Mike.
Yeah, I was wondering if John noticed that it seems the U.S., whenever they get any chances, they seem to be wanting to go up top on Lindmark. Every chance that they've missed has been either over the net or wide high. Something they might be looking for?
They certainly have been here in the third period, Mike. No question there.
U.S. with Snuggerud, number 22, sweeping it out to center ice and taken there by Erling. In now to Johansson, but he has it taken away for the moment by Brown. And Erling again. Morton swept aside by Terreri and shot in from the far boards by Bo Berglund. Janney leading the charge. Here's Donatelli. He tried to get it to Janney, and it was broken up by Samuelson. Stevens intercepts at center ice.
This has been a very exciting hockey game, Al.
And a great third period as Laviolette keeps it in. Samuelson can't clear. Stevens' shot is high off the top of the glass. And Laviolette back for the United States. Peter shoots it around the boards. Lindmark partially stopping it. To the point to Laviolette. Slap shot is deflected and skitters wide.
Great forechecking by Team USA here. Stevens is hitting. Donatelli's playing frisky. Johansson make that bumping. And that's setting up some errant passes by Team Sweden.
Now Eldebrink. Taken by Weinrich for the moment at center ice, but Sandstrom gets it into the United States end, and his centering pass is swept aside. Nobody was there anyway, and cleared out by the United States for the moment as Carlson leads Sandstrom. Sandstrom ripped out of the play by Weinrich, but the loose puck is collected. Moline got it over to Sandstrom. Yelm, who has scored a goal tonight. Moline slides it in behind the net. And Weinrich comes up with it for the U.S. 11:30 to play, third period, 3-1 sweep. Sandstrom for Moline. He circles and then shoots it back into the corner.
What am I doing here?
Yelm with the puck. In behind the net and tied up by Bourbeau. So a face-off coming up at 11:14 to play, third period. 3-1 back after this message.
It's the great annual variety celebration benefiting the 25th anniversary Variety Club Telethon, starring Yakov Smirnoff, Russia's gift to the world of comedy, plus Buffalo's first family of music, the Shintas, Michael Jackson dancer Christopher, the magic of Brian Cale, world hula hoop champ Matt Plendle, plus the music of Buffalo Swing, Saturday, February 20th at Shays Buffalo. Pick up a discount voucher at any Western New York Chrysler Plymouth dealer. Tickets available at Shays box office and all Ticketron locations.
3, the United States 1 as these two teams meet for the second time in 3 days. Again in Colorado Springs Saturday night. U.S. won it by a score of 9-7. Now the United States, which has scored the only goal here in the third period, still down by 2. Fusco gets it to McDonald, but his shot was wide. And Team Sweden clearing it. Rundqvist brings it in over the blue line, but it's taken away and shot out along the boards. Sweden shooting it into the U.S. end and taking advantage of changing on the fly as the Americans regroup and come back the other way. Laviolette trying to shovel it up ahead to Miller, and Miller wasn't looking. Samuelson intercepts, and then the shot comes in, and a great save by Terreri. Samuelson digging at the point to keep it in.
Terreri is very good with low shots. He has an extremely quick catching hand. You saw him make the save that time with a low shot.
Ryan Leach couldn't control the center ice. Bo Berglund comes all the way in. He's ridden out by Gosselin. Erling now. Circling. Loose puck on the far boards, and it's Snuggerud over to get it. Up ahead to Janney, but he has it taken away. And it's lifted in on the net, and the save of the bouncing puck by Terreri. 9:30 to play in the third period as Leach has it broken up.
Leach is a left-handed shot now, playing right defense, and he loves to go on his forehand side to the right side of the ice surface.
Donatelli, slap shot save. Pedersen up ahead now to Eklund. Rundqvist skates in behind the net.
That was Eric. A 3-on-1 for Sweden, and Norton, the defenseman, was trapped, and he showed great skating skills to get back into the play, and the Swedes never even had a shot.
Brad Jones in over the blue line, still controlling it, shoots, save, great save. Lindmark doing a pretty good imitation of Sean Burke tonight. We've all heard about Burke, the great Canada goalie.
Jones is a scorer. Here he comes again.
Jones centers, deflected. U.S. can't get the shot off, and back it comes again.
They've got everybody in the stadium standing on their feet. This is exciting. The Americans trying to climb back to within one. Jones is a goal scorer, and Lindmark beat him.
And the U.S., one thing about them, they were a little lethargic in the first and second periods, but as the icing call stops play here, a whole other story in the third, and the crowd loves it. Sweden still leads, though, 3-1.
Kmart knows that saving, say, 10 cents on a sink stopper isn't going to change your life. But add that 10 cents to the $15 you might save on a Garcia casting reel, to the $40 you might save on a Stanley garage door opener, to the $80 you might save on that Smith Corona typewriter, to the time you've saved by coming here first. And then you know why more people shop at Kmart than any other store.
America's favorite store.
Kmart, the saving place.
This is Fusco working the corner. Watch how smart he is to get the loose puck. Now look at McDonald. He puts a stick down, but he just can't quite get the shot on goal. It goes off and rolls off the blade of a stick wide. Now watch the goal scorer, Brad Jones. He takes off through everybody. He finally gets control of the puck, and there's the goaltender knowing that it has to be a low shot, and they couldn't quite get it through him. Bourbeau was there for the rebound, and he couldn't score.
Sweden on top, 3-1, 8:05 remaining in the third period. Guy Gosselin, who is normally paired with Brian Leach on defense, brings it out. Up ahead for Miller, and poke checked away by Eriksson.
Use something called a delayed offense and a reinforced defense, Al. What we're seeing here is that reinforced defense. They're folding back now, knowing they have the lead.
But it's Janney who's able to penetrate. His pass hopped over Leach's stick.
The Americans are winning the one-on-one battles here in the third period. That's why they're getting a lot more scoring chances. They're going through the other fellas and the other team. With some good, solid hard work here.
Snuggerud's shot was deflected and winds up as a shot on goal. Terreri gets the easy save. Pass ahead for Fusco, and the U.S. is offside with 7:10 to play in the game. 1-800-592-6000. If you'd like to contribute to amateur hockey, the furtherance of amateur hockey in the United States, the Amateur Hockey Association of the United States. And if you pledge $25 or more, you'll receive a Team USA Calgary pin, the official pin. So So the Olympic schedule, the pre-Olympic schedule is winding down, and the Olympic schedule will commence Saturday for Team USA. 3-1 sweep on top here. Icing call was 6:56 remaining in the third period. We'll return to Denver right after this message.
Looking down, the field of blur. Gathering speed, braced for takeoff. The flight, enveloped in an eerie quietness. The landing, you nail it. 380 feet later, the gold is yours. The Olympic tradition continues, beginning February 13th on ABC Sports.
So it's been an exciting third period, J.D.
Well, the work ethic by the Americans really picked up, and of course their pride goes to work when they're trailing on what you could call a home ice surface. And this club is going to be fun when they get Granato and Millen back in the lineup for the Olympics. The speed that they have, and they have some hitters. Their power play has worked real well throughout most of the season. Not so well in this hockey game. They'll be competitive, very competitive.
Berglund slides it in front. No one was there. Kept in by Carlson. And the puck was touched with McDonald's stick above his shoulder. And we'll have a face-off. Let's take 5 seconds here to pause for station identification on the Freedom Sports Network.
You're watching another sports exclusive on Channel 7, WKBW-TV, Buffalo.
Well, ABC Sports will have coverage for you of the United States against Austria on February 13th at 8 Eastern Time as Olympic competition gets underway. The Swedes will open up the next day by virtue of the fact they are in the other pool, and they will meet France.
And they keep their points from that first round going into the medal round, correct?
That is correct.
So a win is a necessity against the Austrians. Ties are important for a 1 point. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a great Olympic series. A lot of different people picking the Canadians. A lot of different people say the Swedes. They say the Soviets.
Stevens comes all the way in, and his shot hits the side of the net. Centered. Stevens couldn't get his stick on it. Cleared out by Sweden. And here's Terreri all the way out of his net. Leaves it at center ice dangerously. And it's shot in and deflected off Johansson's leg. As Terreri gambled, and Sweden came very close to getting a shot on what would have been an empty net. Ryan Leach now up ahead and wheeled in by Bourbeau, but Leach was in ahead of the puck offside. Shots on goal are dead even right now. Each team with 26 shots on goal. An Olympic tournament, John, I think is going to be the most wide open in a number of years.
Yeah, absolutely. And this man, the professor, the man who, without the glasses behind the bench, who loves hockey, thinks about it 24 hours a day. He was been quoted as saying that they practice between 600 and 700 hours a year to prepare for hockey. The Czechoslovakians, they practice 1,300 hours a year, and the Soviets, 1,500 hours a year they spend practicing ice hockey. That's how serious they take it.
And they've been complaining about it too, some of those guys.
Larionov, the centerman on the big KLM line, he has openly criticized their system.
That's Glasnost with an exclamation point. When the guys start questioning Tikhonov, huh?
When you get to see your family 1 week a month, I think I'd rather make it 2 or 3 weeks a month myself too.
Mike, what do you think?
Well, Al, I practice about 1,000,004 hours a year, and never got any better.
But that shot still keeps going in.
I've got 400 more goals than Gordie Howe right now.
The winning goal in 1980.
You and your buddy Mushkin, the goalie, huh? Lindmark scoops it up and closes his glove on the puck, so we'll stop play with 4:34 to play. Give you an idea of who's been hot. Millen, the leading scorer through a pre-Olympic competition, and the defenseman Ryan Leach. Tony Granato not playing tonight, 71 points. Janney is right there. Kevin Miller. Remember, Miller missed several games with a rib injury. Otherwise, he'd have been up in the 70s. Young, the converted defenseman. And Fusco, the 84 Olympic veteran.
It's been tough on a couple of the players when, like, Miller missed because of injuries. And Weinrich had mononucleosis over the holidays, and he's fought back to get himself into game shape. Of course, Kevin Miller had the 2 broken ribs. But all in all, they seem to be fairly healthy heading to Calgary, and that's very important.
A couple of little dings here and there, but nothing real serious.
You cannot add to your roster if injuries do happen during the Olympic tournament.
And what you can do is you can name 20 skaters and 3 goalies. And then you can dress 18 skaters and 2 goalies for each game.
Exactly, and there's nothing worse than being that third goaltender. Your job is to stand down at one end and get puck shot at you every day for practice. What's interesting, you look at the American Olympic team in the past. Jack McCartan was their great goaltender in 1960, and of course in 1980, Jimmy Craig did such a wonderful job. And this year, it's going to be very interesting to see how Mike Richter and Chris Terreri fare.
Terreri got just a piece of it. Terreri tonight has yielded 1 goal after Richter yielded 2 as they split time. Leach up ahead to McDonald,
What?
Lane McDonald from Steve Leach.
A beautiful 2-on-1. Leach waits till a defenseman commits himself. McDonald scored with a rolling puck. Now Leach draws the defenseman. It's not offside because the Swede touched it. He draws the Swede over to him and then drops the puck out to McDonald, who has a lot of speed. He was in behind, and they convert a 2-on-1. Look at this. See that Swedish player touch the puck? That's why it's not offside. Now look at Leach turn to this side of the ice, draws the defenseman, and now it's just 2 people, the goaltender McDonald, and bang, it's a 3-2 hockey game. 3:45 left in the third period.
And a terrific job by McDonald on the bouncing puck on this poor ice surface to get control, get the shot off. It's 3-2. Brian Leach, and that's saved by Lindmark. Young shot is high and wide. 3:30 to play in the third period. Brian Leach to Donatelli, back to Stevens, and a great save by Lindmark. Furious pressure applied by the United States. Moline caroms off the boards to Scott Young. Young skating in. He's hounded, looking for help to Bourbeau. Bourbeau gets checked. Puck comes loose out toward the point. Young is able to keep it in. Jones feints on the shot. Penalty coming up.
I think Donatelli will go for roughing. 2:53 left in the third period. Donatelli was in the corner, working over a Swedish player. We have a 3-2 hockey game. The Americans trail by 1. We'll be back.
We've been here too long already.
Kathy Durham looks cool under pressure. But just because her blouse is dry doesn't mean she smells good. Because Under Armour odor is invisible, she needs Sure Roll-On. Sure helps protect against wetness and kills bacteria that cause odor. So, Kathy, why go to school with a dry blouse and a false sense of security? Tomorrow, use Sure Roll-On and be just as sure about odor as you are about wetness.
Thanks.
Just watch the Americans go to the net. They're converting some fine pass work, and Lindmark moves across and makes another great save, as he has throughout most of this hockey game. There's been a minor penalty given to Clark Donatelli for roughing in the corner as the Americans were being very aggressive, and it comes at an inopportune time. 2:53 remaining here in the third period.
So here's the U.S. down by a goal and now skating shorthanded.
That last time the Swedes had the power play, the Americans had all the scoring chances. Remember, they set up a penalty shot by working.
And the U.S. goal came at the expiration of another penalty. Carlson, collection for Team Sweden. Center ice, Rundqvist up ahead to Lars Gunnar Pedersen. Nice cross-ice pass to Anderson. Terreri out of the net. And the puck covered up along the boards for the faceoff.
Alan, watching this third period, there's no question that the high-altitude training Team USA has used here in recent days has helped them. Now, they will be going into a high-altitude city in Calgary, which is approximately 3,000 feet. That's made a difference here from what I can see in this third period. The Swedish club not having quite as much zip, obviously, maybe not used to this altitude.
And the Swedish team still, I would think, fighting the effects of a little bit of jet lag. They flew over Thursday.
That's right, and then the American club will fly up to Calgary. They will not make a time zone change. Calgary in the same time zone as Denver. That will help their hockey club. And that's all management thinking in advance to try and give their club an advantage going into the Olympics.
And they'll have a chance to practice 3 days in Calgary, twice at the Saddle Dome, once at the Corral. Sweden power play, 1:15 left in the penalty. It's deflected off the stick of Brown and well back into the seats.
That was Brown, a defenseman, ended up high towards the defenseman of Sweden. They were trying a 2-on-1 passing play on Brown, and he intercepted the pass, or the shot, excuse me, by Eldebrink. It's a good penalty killing that we've seen in this game by the American club.
2:05 remaining in the third period. There is no overtime provision in international hockey. So a tie is a tie. And the U.S. looking for a tie right now, but it's going to be tough because they're shorthanded. 2 minutes to play in the game. 1:05 left in the penalty. Eriksson skates in on the right wing. And in front, it was Pedersen unable to get his stick on it. But back it comes. Eriksson has it deflected off the stick of Lane McDonald. And McDonald gets the return pass. But McDonald gets taken out of the play. And a penalty. A penalty on Sweden coming up.
What a passing play by Team USA out of their own zone to set up the breakaway by McDonald. And interference is the call on Team Sweden. Eldebrink goes to the penalty box. A tip pass by Leach to McDonald. He kicks it up. And now they try and stop him. In fact, tackle him to the ice so he can't get the shot. And there's the interference play. There could have been 2 penalties called. Look at the Americans drive to the net. And in from behind is Eldebrink on top of McDonald. And another man on Leach. But that was a quick 2-pass play out of the American zone to set up that breakaway while they were shorthanded. And the play is made, and the American club can't get the shot, so they will be at even strength for 44 seconds. Make that Eriksson in the penalty box, not Eldebrink. He was the second man on Leach, and that's why he's in the penalty box. Excuse me. 44 seconds to Donatelli, and there's 1:37 left here in the third period.
And then the U.S. would have an advantage with a final 54 seconds. Right now, skating at equal strength, and Miller couldn't get enough of a stick on it to tip it in.
Remember, Al, they can pull a goaltender and perhaps have a 2-man advantage.
Right now, 28 seconds left in the U.S. penalty to Donatelli. Terreri, for the moment, stays in the nets. Young has the puck, leaves it for Leach. 18 seconds left in the Donatelli penalty. Leach can't get there, but he collects it, turns, and his slap shot saved by Lindmark. Cleared out. Now 6 seconds left in the Donatelli penalty. When he comes out of the box, the U.S. with a man advantage. 55 seconds left in the game. Donatelli out of the box. U.S. with a man advantage. But Sweden intercepts, and Young shoots it in around the boards. Crazy Karam comes out to Terreri. It's scrapped for along the boards. Young picks up the loose puck. 38 seconds left in the game. Terreri comes out of the nets. U.S. with a 2-man advantage now. This is Young. Deflected in front, swept back out, cleared to center ice. The U.S. with 2 extra skaters. The power play plus Terreri leaving the nets, and it's shot in offside with 25 seconds.
And because that puck was shot in from one side of center ice, the linesmen are taking it all the way back to their own, to the American zone for the faceoff. This means Terreri will have to come back in. They are appealing the call. Janney is appealing the call towards the linesman. Now the other linesman is being questioned right beside the American bench. He's the man that made the call. Mike, what's going on?
Hey, JD, I'm curious. It didn't, normally it would go down the other end if it was intentional offsides. And it looked to me like he just turned around and shot it in the zone, not knowing who was even in there. there, so I can't understand why the faceoff would be all the way out of the zone.
Mike, I think what it was, the puck was shot down from about 4 feet on the American side of center ice. Icing is, I think, what was called.
Oh, it wasn't offside. Okay, I can't see from this angle here.
I thought at first it was offside too, but the shot was from just inside the center ice line, and that constitutes an icing call.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
So the face-off will be in front of the U.S. net. 25 seconds remaining. Again, the United States with a man advantage on the power play. And for the moment now, Terreri comes back out, at least for the face-off, to stand in front of the net.
Think about this USA club. They've won their last 4 games going into this one. Think that the last 3 games going into this one. They beat the Canadians in Edmonton. They beat Denver University in Denver. Then they beat the Swedish club in Colorado Springs. And they have quite a match going here. That Canada victory in Edmonton was a big win for the American club. Everybody knows how good that Canadian club is, and they'll be tough in the Olympics.
Mike?
You know, all the pressure and all the noise. I think I'm ready. I think the people in Denver here are ready for an NHL franchise. I'm down at ice level, and it's pretty loud.
More than 12,000 tonight looking on, and right now they are standing as one. 25 seconds left in the game. Big face-off. There's Fusco.
It's important for him to win this draw. Now Leach will take the draw. If they win the draw, the Swedish club will back right out. And that means the American club will be able to come up ice. Remember, 25 seconds is all that's left.
Again, they're skating 5-on-4 for the moment, and if they control, Terreri will again vacate, and they'd go 6-on-4. And the draw is won by the U.S. Up along the boards, past McDonald. Fusco can't control it. Sweden clears, and they do. It comes out past the blue line. Just past the blue line. Offside is the call. 15 seconds now.
You can tell the Americans are well coached. That was a great breakout play for Team USA. McDonald, as soon as he saw his team win the draw, went right up by center ice along the boards. The puck was fired around the boards, out of the USA zone, and quickly into the Swedish zone. They had to do it quickly. Now watch this as they fired around. Look where McDonald is, right there at center ice. He chips it ahead, and Fusco can't quite get it deep enough. But that's a play they have to use when they're running out of time. A well-coached play.
15 seconds. Terreri is out of the net. 6 skaters against 4. And it's Brian Leach passing it up ahead. Gets the return. Skates in behind the net. Off McDonald's skates. Steve Leach had his shot deflected. Stevens tries to center. Leach keeps it in. Game is over. Well, it's over, and the U.S. may have lost, but that was a very encouraging third period for Team USA. They've got to feel pretty good about the way this one ended. Even though they're on the short end of a 3-2 score, they split 2 games over the weekend with the team that won the World Championship. Thoroughly outplayed Sweden in the third period, and were it not for that man Lindmark and some spectacular goaltending, would have won the game.
Team USA outshot Team Sweden 30-28, and it was a very exciting third period.
So Sweden wins it. They hang on to win it 3-2, and we'll return in a moment.
Oh, Rossi, you've turned our lovely home into George Slaughter's Comedy Club.
Sorry for yourself, Edith. These are the jokes, huh? Car phones. You don't... As if women don't get honked at enough on the highway, these jerks will be able to call over a couple of lanes. Hi, how you doing?
Yeah, when you first get one, it's confusing. You know, you got a car phone. You know, and you're sitting there and you say, I think I'll order a pizza.
Hey, man, what's happening? Could you bring the pizza to the Balboa exit?
Laugh it up at the Comedy Club, Fridays at midnight on Channel 7. What's behind the dramatic increase in the number of cesarean births? Are doctors performing unnecessary C-sections to cut their risk of malpractice suits and to make more money? Health Watch reporter Mary McCombs examines the controversy.
If the outcome is good for the mother and the baby, that's really what we're all after.
Watch the debate over unnatural birth tomorrow night at 6 on Eyewitness News.
smoke detector's a birthday party once a year. It's easy to test and change the batteries. You'll feel a lot safer, and they really get a charge out of it. A message from this station of the U.S. Fire Administration.
Well, this crowd has just given both teams an extended ovation. Good game, great third period. And Sweden wins it 3-2, and now this crowd is sending the U.S. off with a rousing ovation as they head for Calgary. Team USA, the 60-game pre-Olympic schedule is over. And they wind up with a record of 37, 18, and 5.
A real good year, a real good pre-tournament schedule, and it's time to let the games begin. I think, Al, it's going to be a lot of fun, like I mentioned throughout the broadcast. Some great teams, and there's no real clear favorite. There's some stronger teams. Emotion is certainly part of teams from North America, for sure.
Well, for sure, we're going to talk about the Sure antiperspirant players of the game. Get sure and be just as sure about odor as you are about wetness. As selected by the great John Davidson, Peter Lindmark was a unanimous choice as the Swedish player of the game with 28 saves. And for the United States, the player of the game was Scott Fusco, the 1984 Olympic veteran. He and Corey Mellon, two fellas who were there in '84 and returned now as the Olympics are once again upon us. And let's get some closing thoughts now from Mike Eruzione. Mike.
Well, Al, I'll tell you, that's why I'm excited about this hockey team. One thing Dave Peterson said at the start of the season was, I can guarantee you these kids are never going to quit, and they're going to come to play every night. Tonight, they did exactly what we expect. John talked about a wide-open Olympic Games. I think that's what people expect. This team may not win a medal, but they're going to come and they're going to give you work every single night. And that third period was one of the finest periods I've seen this team play all year. So we're excited, we're anxious. I know they are. Friday or Saturday in Calgary against Austria. I think this team's ready, and some good things could happen.
That was a nice way to end it, John. That third period has to be very encouraging. Had they lost 3-0 or 4 or 5-0, if they played in the third as they did in the first and second, that would have been a little dispiriting.
They dominated that team, the team of Sweden, in the third period. Remember, they're the #1 seed going into the Olympics.
Well, we'd like to thank Team USA President Walter Bush, Executive Director Bob Johnson, the General Manager Art Berglund, Director of Public Relations Mike Schroeder, and all of our friends at Team USA and the Amateur Hockey Association of the United States, who've put together a tremendous program and will give the United States a very representative team in Calgary beginning on Saturday. And we'd like to thank all of the facilities and personnel from all of our broadcast venues along the way on the Freedom Sports Network trail, as we've been able to bring you Team USA in a pair of games in December, and then against the Canadians from Minneapolis and Detroit in January, and wrapping things up here in Denver tonight, where Team Sweden has defeated Team USA, the final score 3-2. And tonight's game has been brought to you by Kmart, America's favorite store and proud sponsor of the 1988 USA hockey team. By Sure antiperspirant. Get sure and be just as sure about odor as you are about wetness. And by Dodge Cars and Trucks. When you're looking for a great performance on, road, or off, it's got to be a Dodge. Promotional consideration was paid by Northwest Airlines, the airline that serves over 220 cities and 20 countries on 3 continents. Northwest Airlines is proud to be a television sponsor of both the Winter and Summer Olympics. CB Sports promotional consideration was paid for by CB Sports, proud sponsor of the U.S. hockey team. The U.S. team and CB Sports, a winning team with a commitment to excellence. And for the Freedom Sports Network, President Ron DiLorenzo and Executive Vice President Dale Brooks, a couple of hosses. And the rest of the folks who have put together this package of games for you, along with executive producer Scotty Connell. that's the story. Al Michaels, along with John Davidson and Mike Eruzione, saying good night from McNichols Sports Arena in Denver. And it's on to Calgary.
Crashing on through, busting our heads just for you. My name is Vince. This job makes me sore. If you'd buckle up, I wouldn't do it no more.
They call me Larry. I'm a dummy too. When you don't buckle up, the dummy is you. Buckle that belt.
These are professional dummies. Do not attempt this at home.
Buckle that belt. Got one thing to say, and we know we're not wrong. When you go for a ride, put your safety belt on.
Who can I turn to when nobody needs me?
The Urban League helps make older people's lives worth living again. Please support us. We can make a world of difference.
But who can I turn to if you turn away?
Channel 7.
This is Eyewitness News Nightcast. Now, with Western New York's #1 newscast, here with Mary McCombs is Irv Weinstein.
Topping Eyewitness News Nightcast, the first big political test in Iowa has produced these results. For the Republicans, Dole is their favorite brand. Pat has stepped up to bat and hit one over the fence.